Greetings and welcome back to another miniature episode of Kapow, exclusive to SF. I'm Sonia.
And I'm Al. Now today we have a couple of titles for you that have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Seriously, I tried to think of a link up, nothing.
Nothing. Well, they are quite different. We've got the prelude tie-in to the upcoming movie Thor, The Dark World, and we have issue 1 of Astro City, which is actually a new beginning for a title that began back in 1995. So I guess we could have a link up about how one's a prelude and one's a follow-on. Here's the beginning and the end.
That is
it's
really flimsy. Yeah. But it's the best we've got, so we'll go with it. Now let's start with the prelude to Thor, The Dark World, which is a movie I'm looking forward to because I quite liked the first Thor film, loved the Avengers, so I went into this prelude hoping that writers Craig Carl and Chris Yost would, I don't know, flesh out Thor's backstory a little bit, or show some sort of conflict that he's been part of in between the films.
Yeah, and we've seen with titles like Injustice that you can have a fully fledged story arc within a tie-in kind of situation. Unfortunately, this doesn't provide any insight into the characters or the situations other than what you could have already guessed.
Yeah, it does pretty much fall victim to all the pitfalls associated with tie-ins. Plus a couple of new ones that I haven't seen before, such as adding scenes from the Avengers movie, which we've already seen. Pretty much every page of this comic I kept asking myself the same question. Why? What does this add?
I know, and the art from Scott Eaton doesn't really fare much better. With some characters retaining their classic Marvel look, and some attempting to imitate the actors from the films, and honestly, failing quite miserably. I can't say this comic disappointed me because I didn't really have any expectations going in, but its failure to produce anything new or vaguely interesting means that I'm going to be really harsh and I'm actually going to give it a burn.
It's harsh. I mean, I do see that there were some missed opportunities here. It's possible that the writers had their hands tied in what sort of content they were allowed to touch on, but that doesn't change the fact that this is essentially a needless comic.
That's right.
Not to mention the fact that it's one of two, so it doesn't really have anywhere to go from here or any space to do that, so I'm going to give it a burn as well. Now let's move on to issue 1 of a title which, as you said, began its run in 1995. I'm speaking of Kurt Busiek's Astro City.
Now, it's not a new concept to indulge in a reboot, especially if the title's been out of print for a while. But what is new is to pick up where you left off 3 years ago, while still introducing new readers into this highly textured world. This is accomplished by bringing in a new character who works as a sort of guide for the new readers, the Broken Man. He kind of reminded me a bit of Shade, the Changing Man.
Really? It kind of reminded me of a purple David Bowie. Regardless, I think the technique works quite well, with the Broken Man providing a kind of a crash course to Astro City for newcomers, while providing a few sly winks to the long-term fans as well. He speaks directly to the reader, and even gives the impression that they're participating somehow in how the story turns out.
Yeah, it's an interesting title because it tries to keep its balance between the focus on the superheroes of the city and on its everyday citizens. And that's very well held up by the artwork, which is by turns stunning and chaotic and then subdued and detailed.
Brent Anderson's artwork does have a slightly dated feel to it, but not in a bad way, and I agree that it does underline the classic hero archetypes like the Samaritan, while allowing room for more off-the-wall characters like the manga-inspired American Chibi. It's great to see Vertigo making a resurgence with titles like this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. I'm giving it a buy.
Yeah, this title kind of walks a fine line between introducing new readers without boring readers who had followed the series originally. I really like Astro City. I think it's handling it really, really well, and it's definitely a buy from me as well.
Excellent. Now that's your lot for this week, guys. Don't forget to jump on over to our channel at youtube.com/Kapow Comic Book Show, where this week we are looking at a few great trades.
We certainly are. We're taking a look at Scarlet, Damned, and Remind. It's a huge week. So until next week, guys. Bye.